have been with us. We've been on, this is our, I think, fourth week in a row doing this. So we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to go ahead and go through the basics of School Connect. So if there are any of you on here who haven't joined us yet, that's totally fine. We're going to get you up and running. But we're going to do that just a tiny bit faster than we have been in the past, so we can hopefully show you some additional features at the end for those of you who have joined us before. So that said, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. My name is Emily. I am a former classroom teacher, and I work with School Connect to support our partner schools and partner districts. And my colleague Lisa is in the chat. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to go ahead and drop them in the chat window, and she will get back to you. So for those of you who don't have a background at all on what School Connect is, we are a comprehensive two-way engagement and communication solution. And what we really hope to do is to help you overcome some of the barriers that you face in engaging with 100% of your families and getting everyone involved in your school community. Some of the ways that we do that are by providing two-way translation. So what that means is that you can go ahead and send your information out to all families in English, and each family will be able to translate that into their preferred language. We'll show you what that looks like when we go through a couple slides. I'm going to show you what School Connect looks like both from a parent's perspective and from a teacher's perspective. So when we're in as a parent, you'll see what that translation feature looks like. There's also text-to-speech involved, and that is to help overcome any adult literacy challenges at home. You can include audio recordings, so those can be in any language. And then there's also a lack of dependency on phone numbers. So we know that parents are changing their phone numbers all the time. And so what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to reach your parents and any family members even after they change their phone numbers. So as long as they download School Connect on their phone, you'll be able to reach them regardless of what their phone number is. What we also do is we import student, family, contact, and roster information directly from Infinite Campus at least once a week. So you don't have to either enter any of that information or change it as your class rosters are changing. We just did our last import on Friday evening. So if you have any students who switched classes last week, those are already updated in School Connect for you. You don't have to worry about that. And then one other thing that's really important is that because everything is in-app, all contact information is going to remain hidden. So families will feel like they're texting with you, but they're not. It's all in-app. They don't have access to your phone number, and they don't even have access to your email through School Connect. So let's talk a little bit about how you get on board. First of all, you as staff members will all receive invitations via email. And so these will come to your JCPS email address because that's the only piece of contact information we import for staff members. And so you'll get an email that looks exactly what you see, like what you see on the right-hand side of your screen there. Guardians will receive either a text or an email invitation, depending on the contact information available for them at Infinite Campus. And then there's also a way that you can print invitations for any user. We'll talk a little bit about this once we're actually in the app so that you can get families for whom there is missing or incorrect contact information in Infinite Campus. Okay, so this is one really important slide. So if you're gonna remember one thing from today, try and remember this one. There are kind of two different ways you can communicate through School Connect. One of them is through posts, and that's gonna be news and events. And this is one-way communication out to a large group. So this is going to replace your flyers, your mass emails. Again, we import your school, your grade, and your classroom level groups. So you can choose exactly which one of those you want to send these out to. You can also create your own groups. So if you want to create a group of your highest achieving or most struggling students across all of your classes so that you can send information that really pertains to those families, you can create that group. So you can include images, attachments, audio recordings, you can embed videos, and this is gonna look and feel kind of like social media for parents. They're gonna be able to read your posts, they're gonna like them, of course they can translate them and have them read aloud, but they're not commenting on it, so you don't have to worry about parents commenting on them. When you want to engage in two-way dialogue, that's gonna be in messaging. So if you look at the right-hand side of your screen, these are messages, and this is gonna be two-way communication. This is where there's really strong dialogue happening and really strong relationships being built in School Connect. So these are going to replace your notes, your emails, even phone calls home. It's going to also give you a really easy, convenient platform for positive phone calls or other quick messages that you just didn't have the option to do before. So you can send these to any individual user or users. So if you have one student or a couple of students and you want to send messages to both guardians of a student, you can do that. You can send it to multiple users. The only thing we will say is these are going to behave just like group texts. So if you send a message out to 10 parents or your entire class and someone responds, everyone will see it. So we discourage large group messaging, keep the messaging for kind of one-on-one or one-on-two conversations. This is where you really want back and forth. The reason I'm kind of stressing on this is because there are a lot of people in JCPS who have accidentally sent out large group messages to their entire class, and that's okay. You can always email us and we can go ahead and end that conversation for you if you'd like. But just so you know, keep the messages for small groups, one-on-one conversation, and posts are going to be sending out information to your entire class. Oh, okay. So that said, I'm going to back out of here. Give me just 1 second to get my phone up on the screen so I can show you what this looks like from a parent's perspective. And one thing I forgot to do at the very beginning that is really important is I wanted to start with a couple of celebrations. So before I show you what it looks like from a parent's perspective, let me just tell you some of the numbers that we're seeing in JCPS so far, because we are having such an amazing time partnering with you and you guys are all doing a wonderful job. So let me just give you a quick status update. So far, 62% of your families have activated their accounts, which is phenomenal. We launched a little bit less than a month ago. So that's a great place to start off at the beginning of the school year. There have been over 5,000 posts published in JCPS this back to school season. And parents have sent over 89,000 messages in over 45 languages. So this is really proving to be a great place for parents to go for information and a great way for you to send out information to your families. So this is what it looks like from a parent's perspective. So anyone who has an account can log in on either the mobile app on their phone or on their computer. We find that most parents use their phone, so that's what I'm going to show you from a parent's perspective, and we find that most staff use a computer, so I'll show you what it looks like on the computer when we look at it from a staff. But just be aware that everyone can use it in both places. So when she first logs in, she's going to land on her feed. So this is where any information that's been posted to any group that she's a part of is going to end up. So if she has a first grader and a third grader, she's going to get information from JCPS, from the school, and from those first and third grade teachers. But she's not going to get information about transitioning to middle school or anything like that. It's going to be a really curated feed of information. For anything that's posted, she can tap on it, she can translate it, she can have it read aloud to her by clicking hablar, she can like it, but you'll see that that's really it. So it's going to look and feel, like I said, by design, really familiar. It's going to look and feel like social media. So that's a news item. It's just information. You can also post events into parents' feed, and an event is going to look like this. So it's going to have either a URL or a physical address. Parents will have the ability to RSVP, add it to their calendar. Again, she can translate it, have it read aloud to her. And that is everything in her feed. I'm going to skip over and go to the directory, the next item on the menu bar along the bottom. And you'll see that she has her child listed at the top. If she has multiple children, she'll be able to toggle between multiple children. And then she has all of Michael's teachers listed here. So Michael's in elementary school, but if this were a middle school or high school student, she would have more teachers listed. And I, as a parent, might have a question for my child's teacher, but I don't know the teacher's name or how to spell the teacher's name. So all I have to do is come here, tap on the teacher's name, and tap send a message, and I'm going to automatically be put into a conversation with her. I can send a message in my preferred language, so in this case in Spanish. I could even dictate a message in Spanish, and when you receive it as the teacher, you'll be able to translate it into English. So it's really opening up the opportunity for direct communication in any language, even with literacy challenges. You don't have to worry about coordinating times with the parent or with a translator. So it's going to make things a lot more convenient and a lot more comfortable and approachable from the parent's perspective. And that is really all the parents have to do, is read your posts and send you messages if they have questions. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of here and bring up what it's going to look like for you as a teacher. So once you have activated your account, to log in, you're just going to come to cloud.schoolconnects.com, or if you ever forget, you can just go directly to the School Connects website and there's a little login button in the corner. So once you're logged in, same thing for you. You're going to land on your feed. It's any information that you've posted or that's been posted to a group that you're a part of. And if you want to add news or you want to add an event, I'm just going to come up to this little green plus sign here and click news if I want to add news. And let's say we are going to post talking about characters, And this is just going to be a little post to help parents support their children reading fiction texts at home. There are a lot of optional things here when I'm posting news, so I'm going to show all of them to you now, but just be aware that you don't have to click all of these. So one of them is that you can schedule a post. And what that's going to do is it is going to let you create the post now, but not have it go live until later. So you might want to take advantage of this if you're creating a post late at night, which I hope you're not, but I know sometimes you are, and you don't want all of your parents to get a push notification on their phone late at night. I could go ahead and take advantage of this schedule post feature. You might want to do this. You might want to sit down every Sunday and set something to go out every Tuesday and Thursday. I can go ahead and schedule the date and even the exact time that my post will go out. If I don't check this box, it'll go out immediately. There's also an expiration date affiliated with every post. This is just to make sure that everything in your parents' feed stays relevant. It's going to default to 2 weeks, but I can change it to shorter or longer, whatever I'd like. I can attach an article image. This is optional, but it is something that we very strongly recommend. If you think about kind of what catches your attention when you're scrolling through social media, it's usually things with pictures. So give your parents that same opportunity and try and catch their attention with a picture. So this can be any picture you've downloaded from online, or if you're posting from your phone, it can be anything from your camera roll. You can also add attachments here. You might have noticed one of the posts we looked at when we were looking at it from a parent's perspective did have an attachment. So I could go ahead and add an attachment here. I can add a PDF or additional images. The only thing I will caution you on is that we will not be able to translate the content of the attachment because we don't have access to the content. So if you're putting something with a lot of text in it as an attachment, just make sure you go ahead and copy that text, and you also put it down here in the body of your post, especially if you know that a lot of your families are going to be relying on that translation. You can also click here to create an audio recording. This is definitely optional. We're not going to go into it a lot today, but just know that you can create an audio recording, and you can choose to either send it to all recipients or only the recipients who speak a specific language. Okay, and then this is where I'm going to put the content of my post. And I just realized I forgot to copy it already. Sorry, for the sake of time, I'm just going to copy and paste this post. And I can go ahead and format the text. I can embed videos in here. If there's a video that you either watched with your class or created with your class and it's hosted on YouTube or Vimeo or any of a number of other sites, I could go ahead and copy that URL and paste it right here in the body of my news, and then that video would come up as an option to click right here in my news item. Here is where I'm going to select my recipients. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add Group. And all of my groups that I can post to will come up here. So this again is going to be any groups that you are linked to in Infinite Campus. It's also going to be the school group. You'll notice that for some groups it says requires approval. So if you want to post to your entire school, if you have an extracurricular opportunity or anything like that, I can go ahead and post to the entire school. Just be aware it's going to go to your administrators for approval first. For the sake of this post, I'm just going to go ahead and post it to my class. I can ignore the checkboxes down here if I'm an elementary school. These checkboxes really only matter if you are in a high school that has enabled student accounts. By default, student accounts are turned off at all schools, and some schools have opted to turn that back on. So if you are at a school that has enabled student accounts, you can choose if you want to send this to the students in your group or to students' guardians. And students' guardians, those are the students who are in your group, the guardians of those students. As opposed to guardians over here, which is any guardians who are actually members of your group. So once I have any of the checkboxes I want selected, I can go ahead and click Add Groups. I can set up a reminder to go out, link to this post in the future. Let's say I'm posting about something that's a month from now. I might want a reminder to go out in a couple of weeks. I could go ahead and create that now so I don't have to worry about it later. Once it looks good, I can preview it, publish it out, and I'm good to go. I can do the same thing with events. And then once I have anything published, I can go ahead and come down here and click Read More. You'll see this is the post we just published. And there's this little eyeball icon here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And this is going to give me access to my views. So here I can filter by who has read it or who has liked it. No one has read this yet because I just published it. But this is going to let you see who has read and liked your post. And again, you can do that for any post that you yourself have published. I have a couple other tabs here under my feed of where other posts that I've created have gone. So just so you know, you have access to some other things here. I'm gonna skip this messages tab and take you down to the directory. The directory is, first and foremost, just a directory. So it's gonna give me access to everyone in my school. I wanna draw your attention to a couple of things. One of them is this last access column. This is gonna show me when everyone has last logged in. So you'll notice that there are a lot of people here who have logged in. For anyone who does have a date under last access, that means they've activated their accounts. They're good to go. So I could go ahead and send them a message. So let's say I wanted to send Michael a message. I would just hover over his name, come to the gear icon and click message me. Now for some parents, excuse me, or for some users, you're not gonna have that option. You'll notice that Asmahan here does not have a last access date. That's because she's never activated her account. So when I hover over her name, instead of being able to message her, I can go ahead and send her an invitation. So if I click this button, it's automatically gonna send an invitation to her via email or text, or she'll get a text invitation. One other thing I wanna show you is how you can message your students' guardians, even if you don't know their names. We certainly don't expect you to know all of your students' guardians' names, especially this early in the year. So if I wanted to send Scott's parent a message, I could just type in Scott's name, click this little down arrow, and then both of his guardians will show up. So if I wanted to send Jeff a message, I could just come here, click send message, and it'll bring up my message thread with Jeff. Now, I might know his name already, or I might want to respond to a message. In that case, you can just come directly to your messages tab, and all of the message threads you've been a part of are housed here. I'm gonna move down to the groups tab. Actually, I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna switch accounts and log in as another teacher. And then 1 second, I'm just gonna check in with my colleague about a question we had.
Does this mean to carry out any push notifications for messaging on the web?
Yeah, so if you want to, I'm gonna take a quick break before I go to groups and show you how to edit your profile. So I'm gonna come up here to my own profile and click my profile. And from here, I can edit it. A couple of things while we're here. First of all, we really strongly encourage you to add a profile picture this year. This is something that people have always had fun with in the past, but this year it's important. A lot of your families aren't and students even aren't have an opportunity to meet you. So adding a profile picture is a really good way to connect with them. We've had a lot of people add really fun profile pictures, maybe like reading their favorite book or whatever you want to do with it, but please add a profile picture. You can also edit your name. So especially if you have a role at your school where you are not a classroom teacher, where maybe parents might not recognize your name, you're a guidance counselor or a nurse or some other role, you can go ahead and add that to your name. So I might say Miss Matthews nurse if I was the school nurse. So just so you know, that is something that you have complete control over. You can edit your profile at any time. I'm also gonna come over here to my settings, and this is how you're gonna enable push notifications from the app itself. So I can either choose to receive a notification whenever news is created, which is what we typically recommend so that you won't miss out on anything. Or if you're getting a lot of notifications, I can also choose to receive one notification per day for my news. You'll still get a notification anytime a message is sent. But if I want to receive a push notification for news just once a day, tell me every day at 7 o'clock what news was created, I can go ahead and do that. And I can even set the time I want to receive that push notification. Really nothing else you have to edit in here. So I'm going to click save. Just be aware if you have done that and you're still not receiving push notifications on either your phone or your web, you'll still have to edit these in your phone settings or your web browser settings. But that is how you can go ahead and set it in the School Connects app. Again, you can do the same thing from your mobile app. Okay, now I'm going to jump down to groups. And this is where you're going to have all of your groups listed. So again, I have created a lot of additional groups. I have reading groups in here. I have a student service learning club in here. So I'm gonna have the ability to do a lot of different things with my groups. You'll notice some of them have a flag icon next to them. Those are the groups that I own, which means either they were imported as linked to me in Infinite Campus or I've created those groups. So let's talk about a few different things you can do here with your groups. First of all, you'll notice when I hover over a group, this gear icon appears to the right. So there's a lot I can do just from here. I can do a lot, but first I'm going to click on the name of the group and show you some more information you get here. if you click on the name of the group, it's going to give you just a little snapshot of how School Connects is being used in that group. So if I click on my class group, I can see how many posts and messages were sent in my group this week, how many people in my class activated their account this week, some of my most popular posts, the most active users. So this is just going to give you a little snapshot of, again, how School Connects is being used in your group. I can also come up here to this gear icon and click View Member Activity, which you might have also noticed was available on the gear icon under Groups. What this is going to do is it is going to show me all of the students in my class, each of their guardians, and when those guardians have last logged in. Now, this is a demo class, so this class is doing incredibly well. Your class might not have as many people activated yet. That's okay. There's a lot you can do about this. You can kind of take a lot of ownership about this. So again, anyone with a date next to their name has logged in, and this is the last time they've logged in. Anyone who says never has never logged in. So from here, I can resend invitations. So again, I can kind of take ownership of who in my class or who in my group has activated their account, and I can go ahead and resend invitations. Now, this is something that your school might have a policy on. There are a lot of schools in JCPS who are doing a phenomenal job and are resending invitations every week at the school level. So try and find out how your school is handling this before you kind of run with invitations. But just know that this is something you can do. So if I click Send Email SMS Invitations, and again, in most schools, students don't have accounts, so I'm going to send these to students' guardians. It's going to confirm how many are going to go out. There's just one parent in this class who hasn't activated her account, so it's just going to go out once, but hypothetically, you're sending this to 40 people. And then I'm going to click OK, and it's going to go ahead and send out those invitations. Now, if you're sending these to a large group, it might take a second, excuse me, but they will go out. And then I can also do the same thing for printed invitation letters. So I can print invitation letters for students' guardians. And again, I'm still just going to get one because there's only one person who hasn't activated her account. And what this is going to do is it is going to allow you to help connect the families for whom there is missing or incorrect contact information in Infinite Campus. So it's going to give me her registration code and her last name. Now, typically what I would say in in-person learning environments is you can send these home with all of your students, or you can hand these out at back to school night. So if you do have any in-person events, this is still a great option and a great opportunity. Anytime there's an in-person event, hand out these invitation letters. However, even though we are distanced right now, you can still use this to access the parents' codes so that you can give those to them. So let's say you are on a phone call with a guardian or communicating with a guardian in some other way, and you notice they haven't activated their School Connects account yet. As long as you're in a one-on-one situation, so no one else sees it, I can go ahead and say, Asmahan, here's your code, here's your last name, let's get you logged in. And then you have her forever. So that is something that you can really, like I said, do and take ownership of, and so you can drive the activation in your own classroom. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my class, and I just wanna show you very quickly, there's a lot of other things you can do with your group. You can, I'm going to come here and I'm going to click Edit. Oh, and it looks like my internet just completely slowed down. Oh, there we go. Okay. So here you can edit your group. So one of the things you can do is you can edit the name of your group. If your group is imported from Infinite Campus, then it's going to, be brought in with that kind of alphanumeric string that parents don't know what it is. So if you want to make it a little more parent friendly, I can go ahead and change the name of my group. Here I changed it to Mrs. Matthews class, but you can change it to whatever you want. I can also click Manage Members. This is something we've been getting a lot of questions about from JCPS, which is a great question, but we've been hearing from a lot of classroom teachers who want to make sure that their instructional assistant or their co-teacher or some other staff member who helps out a lot in their class is involved. And again, that's great. We totally support that. From Infinite Campus, we only get, the information that's listed in Infinite Campus. So once the group is imported, it is yours to kind of own and run with and manipulate so that it works best for you. So if you want to add any other staff members, this is where you're going to come. You're going to go to Manage Members, and you'll notice there's this blue Add Users button. So I'm going to go ahead and click that, and I'm going to type in the name of my co-teacher. I type Amy Mann, and I can click on her. I'm going to click OK. And then Amy Mann is in my class. I'm just going to type her name in up at the top so that she comes up here. And you'll notice she's right here. So again, if I hover over her name, a gear icon appears to the right. I can even come down here and click Edit Permissions. And this is not something anyone ever has to touch. This is completely optional. There are default permissions put into place so that any staff member who isn't the owner can do certain things in School Connects. But just so you know, this list of permissions is here if you want to give them access to other functionality just within your group. So changing any of these permissions does not change what Amy can do in any other groups. It's just going to change what she can do in my class. So for example, by default, she can create posts, but they're going to come to me for approval. And if Amy's my co-teacher, I trust her. I don't want to have to deal with approving her news. I can go ahead and click Can Post Without Approval. And then she's all set. She can post whenever she wants. So those are just a couple of ways that you can go ahead and edit your groups. And I hear there are a couple of questions. Nope, no questions. Just kidding. 3 minutes, not 3 questions. Okay, so those are a couple of ways that you can edit your group. Again, they're imported from Infinite Campus on a at least weekly basis. So you don't have to go in and edit your students or anything like that. But if you do have a staff member working with you, or you want to edit the name of your group, or you want to re-invite your families, you can go ahead and run with that. All right. So what do you do next? First of all, if you haven't activated your account, definitely do that. If you haven't received an invitation, it is probably for one of 2 reasons. One of them being that you're also a JCPS guardian. If you're a JCPS guardian and staff member, that is okay. Of course, we want you to have access to kind of both sides of it. So you can email us. It's support@schoolconnects.com, which is there on the bottom of your screen. And we can help you either merge those accounts together or figure out the best way for you to get you set up. Download the mobile app. It isn't required, but I definitely think it's the most convenient way to, send a quick message or something like that. So we encourage you to download the mobile app. Post news if you haven't yet. This is the time of year where habits are really being formed and routines are being formed, as we all know. So if you are posting news now, your families are going to get used to going to School Connects to see your news. Check out the School Connects Back to School calendar. There are a number of resources available in a OneDrive that JCPS set up for us that I think my colleague is going to throw in the chat window right now. So there's a number of how-to guides, a longer version of this PowerPoint presentation that you can look at, and there's some back to school calendar. The calendars are just quick little examples of what you can post, when you can post, nice messages to send. So if you're excited to jump in and just aren't really sure what information to share right now, go ahead and check out those calendars. Encourage families to message you. If you're, asking for information from them, encourage them to do it in a message, and then resend invitations as needed. If you have any questions at all, we are here for you, not just at the beginning of the school year, but we are here to partner with you throughout the entire school year. Like I said, JCPS has been awesome to work with so far. So email us at support@schoolconnects.com if you have any questions. And that is right up to time. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and reach out if you need anything, and have a wonderful day.